I'm really afraid of bones. Like if someone mentions bones breaking, I will throw up. So, Act 1 began with The Book of Fear, which is a short film I directed and co-starred in with my boyfriend, Logan, who was amazing. And we shot it all around Bangor and in Old Town and here in Herman. And then I submitted that to some film festivals, but ended up just putting it online and making more videos. So after The Book of Fear, which I wanted to be like the introduction, my official film career, I filmed 3 prophecies, which are all quotes taken from Faust Part 1, Return to Earth, Fool's Bargain, and Queer Prophecy. And then I made TERRA TRAUMA as the finale, where I kind of put all those pieces together. And I wanted it to kind of play out as Gretchen, who was the girl killed by the deception and greed of others in Part 1 of Faust. I wanted her to come back, not remember what happened because of her traumatic experiences, and have Avery kind of guide her through her recovery from trauma. So we go through the land of trauma, which is basically the stages of grief. So you go from mania, denial, anger in The Book of Fear, where Gretchen, who sees Avery as her reflection, she hallucinates that she makes a deal with this book in a blood pact to become immortal, and that her aggressor ends up becoming mad based on his actions and then kills himself and then becomes her servant forever in the afterlife. So it's like a manic episode. But then Avery kind of like lets that play out, and then she kind of brings her back to earth and says, like, ground yourself. You can break free from this mania. You need to start healing. And then it gets into Fool's Bargain, which is the bargaining and depression stages of grief, where you are extremely depressed thinking about what happened or if it could happen again, and you try to find meaning in that sadness and those memories that are coming back, and some of them you can't even remember. The whole point of Fool's Bargain is to value your life and not let fear continue to lead you after something that happens like that, you know what I mean? To just keep moving forward and not take your life for granted. So we get into Queer Prophecy, which is all about acceptance and solace. And, you know, I found that one of the best ways for me to cope with my PTSD is to talk about it and write stories about it. It's all about kind of channeling those feelings through art in a way that you feel like you have control over those feelings and what happens to them, which is kind of the adverse of when you are in situations that you can't control and things are happening to you that you wish wouldn't. You know what I mean? Like, so you kind of are taking the narrative back and but doing it in like a healthy way. And finally, we kind of wrap back up into TERRA TRAUMA when Avery says goodbye and says that she can't stay because she's only alive at night and returns to Bones during the daytime. So even though Avery is very much a product of Gretchen's subconscious, who she created to help guide her, to her, Avery is very much a fate or personification of death. So that is TERRA TRAUMA, which means from the land of trauma in Latin. And just one more note about that, because I don't want to get too deep into the Faust lore, but basically the original writer of Faust kind of had a lot of Christianity and Greek mythology in his work, where the characters would interact with these like Greek goddesses and then eventually be saved by the Christian god, Gretchen and Faust. However, I wanted to, you know, in my version, have the earth be the deity and have Mephisto be kind of like a conscience and not actually like the devil. So it's kind of like an atheistic kind of look at, you know, someone kind of talking to the devil on their shoulder, which is really just in their head instead of actually like using theological beings. What am I afraid of? Oh, I'm really afraid of bones. Like if someone mentions bones breaking, I will throw up. And I used to be really horrified of bones, and I was like, I can get over this fear. And I loved horror movies, so I really wanted to be able to like watch like all sorts of dark shit. So I decided to kind of surround myself with bones and symbols of mortality because of what happened to me, to kind of normalize those things. So in the future, I really want to produce a TV series based, or like as a continuation of what I've already done, and do a feature-length film after that. That's my ultimate dream. But thank you for watching. Make sure you watch TERRA TRAUMA. It's on YouTube and Facebook. Have fun when you wake up.